Hi everyone, my name is Christy Trusty and I am the owner and travel advisor for Sunshine Bird Vacations LLC. And this is my review of Iceland. Now, I went with my boyfriend at the time, now husband, back in 2016. So this is a review from very, very long ago. So forgive me if I don't have all of the information. Honestly, I'm usually very, much more organized when it comes to trip planning, but this vacation was actually planned by my husband, and you'll see why as we're going through it. But it was kind of a surprise trip for me, just a long weekend, December 8th through 13th. I think that's 8th, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. So it was like 5 nights, 5 night vacation basically. So very long weekend, but not like quite a week's worth in Iceland. But you can see here that's me all bundled up. December is cold for Iceland. That's my first comment about Iceland. It is cold in the winter, but it was a lot cheaper in that December timeframe as well. So, and we were going, we really wanted to see the Northern Lights, so that's why we went during this time of year. So let's start off with how we got there. So, I like this map because this map is, it's a map of Iceland, and my husband has Google Maps on his phone. And back in the day, he used to mark every single place he went to. I don't know, he was kind of a nerd that way, I guess. But he used to mark every single place he went to. So you can see in Iceland, we did not go a lot of places in Iceland, and we need to go back probably sometime when there's better weather because there's so much more to see, like the puffins. We didn't see a puffin when we were there because we went kind of down in this area more than up in this area. And then there's just like there's this huge road that you can drive, so we could go on this kind of ring around the island and do like a week-long tour there. So we'll definitely have to get back, but this is what we did when we were there for our long weekend. And we did fly in. So we left we used to live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So we left Cedar Rapids, Iowa at about 10:40 a.m. on Thursday, the 8th of December. But as you can see, we had to do actually one, two, three flights to get there. I think if you look it up, you can probably get something cheaper that only has two flights now and is much quicker. I think I looked that up and it was much quicker. But for us, this is what we did because my husband had a lot of airline points with Delta, so he used his points to get us this flight there. So we took off at 10:40 a.m. Cedar Rapids, got to Minneapolis by 11:48. That's a short flight. But then from Minneapolis, we didn't leave until 3 p.m. So it was kind of a long layover there. And then we had to go to New York City Kennedy Airport, and we had only a couple hour layover there, but then we had our long flight, and as you can see, we left at 10:40 a.m. Cedar Rapids on Thursday, but we didn't actually get there till Friday, which is why it took like a whole day, right? It took a day off, which is why there's nothing else to show you for Thursday. Like technically, I probably should have put this where we stayed on Friday. Since we got there on Friday, I was just dumb and threw it on this slide. But for Friday, this is where we stayed. So arrival was Friday, December 9th, and we departed on Tuesday, December 13th, and it was only $500 USD. This was back in 2017, so it's probably a little bit more expensive now. But it was Hotel Odinsve. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and honestly, I'm gonna pronounce everything wrong in this video because there's a lot of weird spellings, and I pronounce things like I see them, which is sometimes very, very incorrect. So I'm sorry in advance if I pronounce anything wrong. But we had a one twin room. We did not choose to get breakfast. They had with or without breakfast. We are not huge breakfast people, so honestly, we probably skipped breakfast most days. But if you are a breakfast person, I definitely recommend getting a room with the breakfast. And so for that room, it was $500 4 nights. So around $100 a night USD. Not too bad to stay there. And this hotel was right in Reykjavik, right in that Reykjavik area. It was very walkable to all of the attractions and stuff that we wanted to go see in Reykjavik. So that's why my husband picked it. So on Friday, when we got there, we kind of explored around a little bit. We didn't have any plans since it was like we got there in the morning, we were jet lagged. So we just went around and explored. Um, we tried a few different things. Let's just say fermented shark is one of their like, I don't know, like local dishes that you have to try, but it's it's not good. So we'll just say it makes your mouth numb. So if you're gonna try it, don't try it before you eat food because you're not gonna be able to taste your food. I would have it like after your meal or something. I don't know. It's very not good, so just don't try it. And then we ventured out because we had a car, so we went to Grindavik, which was also in Iceland. We went to Cafe Bryggjun. I don't know how to pronounce anything, but I highly recommend you venture out and get to this place. It is a little bit of a drive from Reykjavik, but the lobster bisque there is amazing. So definitely recommend going there and getting some lobster bisque. And then the Icelandic journey, this was a micro bar Reykjavik. This was a little brewery, like a little microbrewery, and it had a lot of good beer. And it also had this amazing Icelandic journey 7 course tasting menu. And of course, me and my husband being foodies, we had to try this as well. It's sad because the puffins are so cute, but it had smoked puffin, minke whale, traditional Icelandic flat kaka. Don't even ask me what that is anymore. Horse carpaccio, ling, Icelandic lamb rump steak, and then a cream cheese skyr cream. That was really good. I do remember that one, but a lot of the stuff I don't remember. I remember it was all really, really good. And I probably recommend it because even though it's expensive, you get to try a whole bunch of different things that they don't offer in the United States. So sorry if you don't like that I ate puffin, but I did. It probably tasted like chicken because I don't really remember. But after that, we went around and walked Reykjavik. I will say at this time of the year in December, the daylight is very, very limited. It's mostly dark there, like all the time. So it was very pretty though, because everything's lit up. You can see, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. Hallgrímskirkja. Maybe I got it right. So this is a church. It's actually Lutheran, but it's the tallest landmark in Reykjavik, so you can't miss it as you're walking around. It looks so pretty. I think we went on the inside too, and I didn't get a photo or something. I don't know. Trying to dig up all of these photos, and what we did was a pain since it was all the way from 2016. So sorry that I don't have better photos of Reykjavik, but I really did enjoy that trip. Reykjavik was very pretty. There was a lot of different foods to try, a lot of different beers. There was that lobster bisque, and I'm telling you right now, we compare our memory of that lobster bisque to every single lobster bisque we have gotten since, and nothing has compared. This is the place. If you get one place in your life, go to Cafe Bridgen and get their lobster bisque. It's life-changing. All right, so that was Friday. Saturday we had Blue Lagoon lined up. So if you don't know what Blue Lagoon is, it's this hot spring. It's like a natural hot spring. They did build like a hotel around it, so you can actually stay there. We didn't stay there because we were trying to keep things cheap. This was back when we were just a boyfriend, girlfriend, did, working on our careers, going back to school for our masters, that kind of thing. So we tried to keep it very low cost this trip. And honestly, the cost here, it wasn't too bad per person. It was 70 euros. I forgot to look up what euros to uh the US dollar was back in 2016, but I can imagine it wasn't too much more, maybe like 80, 100, or maybe it was less even. I'd have to look that up, but it was 70 euros. And I think that was for both of us. So not bad at all. And you just had an arrival entry time, and my husband chose 8 to 9 a.m. By that time, it was still dark. So, like I said, very limited daylight. So it's very dark until like I don't know, I think it was like 11 or noon, it started getting lighter out. So we actually entered the Blue Lagoon when it was dark, and it was a really, really fun experience. So we entered it when it was dark, and we got to watch the sunrise. So if you're going around this time of year, definitely recommend doing it in the morning, 8 to 9 a.m. entry. That this price included entrance to the lagoon. They have silica mud masks there that you just like you go to this bar and you just get your mud mask and you put it on and you hang out. You get to use a bathrobe, towel, an algae mask at the silica bar as well. Like so you get both masks. Slippers, you get reserved table at the lava restaurant if you want to have like dinner or lunch. And there was sparkling wine at the Lava restaurant, which was complimentary with the dinner or lunch. I don't remember if we took advantage of that. I have to assume we did. We went to lunch there. And one drink of your choice valid only at the in-water bar. So while you're in the lagoon, there's actually a bar you can go to and get drinks. I kid you not. So we stayed in there quite a long time. It was a really fun experience. It's pretty huge, so even when people started coming in and started getting a little more crowded, I will say we didn't go at a super popular time of the year. So if you went in like the summer when there's tons of tourists all about, it might be kind of crowded. But our experience was really, really nice. So December in Iceland was really great. We really enjoyed that time of year because there were fewer crowds, like there weren't many people, many tourists there. But that comes with, not being able to see all of Iceland because a lot of the like you're not going to go farther, venturing farther up north. So that's if you're going at this time of year, definitely stick in the Reykjavik and like the Golden Circle type of area, South Coast, those areas if you're going in December. And then this is just to show you after that we went chasing the Northern Lights. That was at night, obviously, when it got a little darker. So we went chasing, we went to several different areas and we finally saw them and I wanted to just mark on this map. So this is Reykjavik right here. And this is the where we saw the lights. So you can kind of understand where we were on the road. But I think it just depends because they can pop up anywhere, right? They can pop up anywhere. And honestly, the view we had was very, very cloudy. I actually took both of these pictures from online because I didn't have any pictures of the Blue Lagoon. I don't know where they went. But it was such a beautiful and fun experience. I wish I had pictures from it. And then from seeing the Northern Lights, I wish I had pictures as well. But I kid you not, we look up, we see them, and then all of a sudden I hear my husband get down and I'm like, "Oh, what's he doing?" I look over and he proposed to me underneath the Northern Lights. So it was actually a really, really cool proposal, but by the end of that proposal and me saying yes, we looked up and the Northern Lights were gone. So it was like they came out for like a minute just so he could propose because that was his whole plan. He wanted to, take me on a nice Blue Lagoon relaxation and then go see the Northern Lights, which neither of us had seen before, and propose under them. That was his whole plan. So, and that's also why he planned this whole trip because he didn't want me to know what he was doing. So it was all kind of a surprise for me and it was really fun because of that. But that's also why I don't have a ton of information on what we did and had to scrounge and look and actually had to download his email from Google so that I could scrounge through his emails to try to find, what company did he use for our tours? Where did we actually stay? thankfully he had all these markers on his Google map of where we actually were, because now we have a little point on the maps where we can visit one day and say this is where we got engaged. So it is really cool that he did mark all of those locations. But that was Saturday. On Sunday, we had a Golden Circle tour, so we opted to use a tour company because it was winter and we didn't want to have to worry about getting stuck or navigating the roads or anything like that. So we actually used Geo Iceland, and I let my husband booked all of this, right? So I don't know why he chose what he did, but he chose Geo Iceland. I think there's quite a few tour companies there. But that Golden Circle tour was 9 to 5. So we started without daylight and we basically ended after the sun went down. Um, but for two adults back in 2016, it was around $205. And then today's price, I kind of looked it up just to give you an idea, would be around $310. So it looks like it went up, and that's for two adults, right? So like 150 each if you went today, which is not bad. That's about the regular standard cost that I've seen for mini tours, like day tours when you're out and about. Um, and honestly, it was a really nice tour. I do remember they told us a lot of different like stories. We sang Christmas songs. It was it was really fun. We got to see the Gullfoss waterfall. That thing is huge. This is a bad photo of it, but if you look it up online, Gullfoss waterfall, it is humongous, multi-tiered. You can see how close we are to the water right here. You can get super close. But in the winter, you always want to make sure you're bundled up. Like it was so cold, guys. I remember how cold it was. Um, and being close to water where it's like spraying on you too, you definitely want waterproof layers. No, not water resistant, waterproof. Same with the boots or whatever you're wearing. Iceland is not a fashion destination. Iceland is an adventure destination. So you want to dress for the weather. Even in the summer, it can be super cold. And then from there, we went to the geyser geothermal area. We actually got to see geyser. I did take a video of the geyser going off, and it's funny because its name is geyser. This is the original geyser, guys. This is where geysers, all other geysers, got that common name from because this is geyser. So we got to see geyser. I took a video, so I'll throw that at the end of this video of this review. And that geothermal area was just, it was so interesting to see waterfalls and then you get to geothermal. It truly is the land of fire and ice, right? Um, and then from there we went to Thingvellir National Park. There was this beautiful waterfall there as well. Just so many waterfalls. I think it was like or 5,000 waterfalls, 500, something like that, in Iceland itself, and that's a lot of waterfalls. So that's um that's really cool to go someplace and just be driving around and see waterfalls all over the place because they are beautiful. And even though it was cold, they didn't freeze. There was no frozen pieces in the lakes or the waterfalls, which is very interesting. So it must not have been like super, super cold. Probably because of the geothermal. That actually makes sense. Because there's so much geothermal activity happening in Iceland that they actually run purely on like geothermal energy as well as the hydro energy. So like the waterfalls and stuff. So they're very much all using renewable energy sources, which is amazing for one country. So that's what we did on Sunday, Golden Circle tour. I'll throw the video of Geyser at the end. And then on Monday we did a South Coast tour. Now, I don't know because I could not find the receipt for this one, but I do remember that we took a tour, so I'm just kind of guessing that we went with Geo Iceland again. And looking at their site, that one's like a 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., so a little bit longer instead of 8 hours, like 10 hours. But it makes sense because you're going the whole South Coast to see that black sand beach and then back. For two adults, I can't tell you what the pricing was in 2016, but today's price was quite expensive. I would say $358 is what I came up with for today's price. Um, so a little pricier on this one, but I do think this was maybe even better than the Golden Circle. I really loved all of the stops we made on this tour. So we got to see the, again, pronunciations, Seljalandsfoss waterfall and the Skogafoss waterfall. So wonderful, beautiful waterfalls, very, very large waterfalls. And then from there, we went to, I think we saw Glacier View first because it looks a little more lighted here. So we went and saw Glacier View, and it's this glacier behind in the photo of the two, my husband and I. It's that little mass of white behind us. That is the glacier. Um, right below that is me standing by the sign that says, "Hey, you shouldn't go past this point." It was just me being funny. Like, shouldn't go past this point unless you have a tour guide. And then this picture on the left of those two, is the people who actually signed up to go and hike the glacier. Now, at the time, my husband and I are adventurous. We'll walk up many, many steps to go see the top of a waterfall, but we didn't want to hike a glacier. I don't know. Like maybe an ice cave. Maybe if we went back, we'd go and see an ice cave, but hiking an actual glacier? That seems very hard and maybe something I'm not prepared for at the moment. I definitely wasn't prepared for it back then. We were more foodies and a little thicker probably because of it. A little softer, I'll say. Um but that was really fun to see like the people going and hiking and seeing them go up and us just watching on the sidelines. So we just kind of enjoyed watching them there. And the most amazing part of the South Coast tour was this Reines Fiara. I don't, again, pronunciations. Black, it's a black sand beach, okay? So I've seen black sand beaches in Hawaii. This one was more like pebbly, I will say. It was like pebbles. And the waves were huge, like much higher waves than I've ever seen. Like, definitely not a beach that you're gonna go wade out and swim in, even though, it was December. Nobody's gonna do that in December anyways. But like even in the summer, if the waves are that large, I don't think anybody's swimming at this beach. But it was super beautiful, and we got to see the sunset there. And so I really, really enjoyed that tour. I enjoyed all the beauty of Iceland. And then basically the next day we had to go. So here's a picture of me. This was actually at that black sand beach, watching the sunset. And my husband must have taken that. So I like that picture. It kind of shows it's kind of like goodbye, goodbye, Iceland. But it was so much fun. I really enjoyed the trip. And honestly, it'll always hold a special place in my heart because that's where my husband and I got engaged. And you can see here, we lost a day on the way there, but you don't really gain a day on the way back. So you look, we left Reykjavik at 9 a.m. We went through all the same stops again, but we got back to Cedar Rapids at 9 p.m. So basically don't gain that day back on the way back, but at least it wasn't like, we get back on Wednesday morning. So we took it and then we were able to start work again on Wednesday. So that was our whole trip to Iceland. Again, sorry if it wasn't super detailed. I had to hunt for pictures, I had to hunt for information. It was a very long time ago, and I hope to go back sometime and give you guys a better review later. But that's all I've got for Iceland today. However, I did create an unofficial guide to Iceland. It has 15 plus pages. Actually, it's 20 plus pages. I forgot to update that. So I have a section for each region, including like top attractions, what restaurants to try, and more. when to visit, how to get around, general information such as culture and entry requirements, packing essentials, plus access to annual updates. So you purchase this one time, and every single year I update it just to make sure all of the information is current. And I'm also, when I do that, I try to improve it a bit as well so that each year it's getting better. And those are all free after you purchase it for the first time. So for my travelers out there, I have a Canva view only version where you just have a link and you use that link to access it. And it's on Canva and you can go through it on Canva. But it's view only, okay? And that one is only $4.95. And then for my travel, my fellow travel advisors out there, I actually have an editable version that is a Canva template for $14.95. And basically that allows you to create your own template, update it for your clients. And if you want, every year I will do those free updates and you can re-download it with all those updates so that you always have a current version. So those free updates also apply to the 14.95 version. You can get all of these in my Etsy store, the Sunshine Bird shop. I will throw a link in the description for that shop. But other than that, that's all I have. I'll throw the video of that geyser video that I have here after I'm done talking. Enjoy that video, and then if you enjoyed this review, please like it and then subscribe to my channel where I'm going to be putting out even more reviews. And next month is actually Ireland, so I'm very much looking forward to talking about my experiences in Ireland. I loved Ireland, and we did go on like a week-long trip and traveled all around Ireland. So I have lots to say about Ireland. So come on back to my channel in like a month and you'll find Ireland, or you can just subscribe so that you get notified when it comes out. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the geyser video and like and subscribe to my channel, please, please, please. And thank you. Bye.